Hey everyone, welcome back to Finance Friday, another special edition of Money Girl where I answer your burning money questions. We have two great retirement questions today. The first comes from Kevin, who says, "My wife and I have loved your podcast for years and are taking every possible step to build our financial futures. We're in our early 30s and max out our Roth 401ks by contributing 25% of our paychecks. If we struggle to maintain savings for emergencies and a new car, do you think we're investing too much?" And our second question is from Michael M., who says, "I've been listening for many years and you deliver good advice in a very understandable way. I have a 401k with a former employer, a SEP IRA from a previous business, a traditional IRA, and an HSA. What tax and penalty changes should I be aware of since I turned the magic age of 59 and a half a few weeks ago?" Thanks for your questions, Kevin and Michael. I love that you both have prioritized investing for retirement, which is the most critical money goal everyone should have. I'll answer Kevin's question by reviewing 5 signs you may be investing too much. And we'll also cover what Michael should know about rule changes for various tax-advantaged accounts after age 59 and a half. I appreciate you joining me today. I'm Laura Adams, a personal finance author, spokesperson, speaker, founder of the Money Stack newsletter, and host of the Money Girl podcast with 43 million downloads. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, hit that button. It is the best way to make sure you never miss an episode. You can subscribe in whatever app you're listening from right now. And we're doing 2 shows a week, so make sure that you're tuning in for both the Wednesday show and this show, which is the Friday show where we're covering a Q&A or 2 Q&As. If you have a question you would like me to cover on a Friday show, just leave it on our voicemail line by calling 302-364-0308. You can also send me an email using my contact page at lauradadams.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for free to the Money Stack newsletter. I'll be offering a variety of live educational seminars this summer, so make sure that you are subscribed to the newsletter so you'll get notified automatically when those live workshops are announced. So I love Kevin's question because, I think a lot of people need help saving enough for retirement. But sometimes you could be oversaving depending on your unique financial goals. At some point you may sort of go from a tipping point of aggressive saving to where now you're just saving too much. And in a recent podcast called 5 Steps to Achieve FIRE, which is Financial Independence, Retire Early, I reviewed various methods to consider if you want to retire early. And most do require aggressive saving and investing so you can grow a nest egg as fast as possible and then scale back or stop working. But Kevin didn't mention when he and his wife want to retire or how much they've already saved. But since they've already developed the habit of investing by their early 30s, I know they're financially disciplined. However, they may need to step back and take a look at all their financial goals and then reallocate enough funds for all of them. So Kevin, I'll review 5 signs that you may be spending too much on retirement compared to other critical financial priorities. So sign number 1 is you need more emergency savings. Kevin did mention struggling to keep enough cash in the bank for emergencies and his upcoming vehicle purchase. So based on your income and expenses, you need to decide how much you should keep in the bank for unexpected needs, plus any planned purchases like buying a car or buying a home or any other short-term goals that you have. I would say in general, keeping 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses on hand, like food, housing, healthcare, insurance, and minimum debt payments, keeping at least that much in an FDIC-insured high-interest savings account is best. For instance, let's say you spend $4,000 a month on your living expenses. You would make a goal to keep at least $12,000 in savings. And that's not invested money, that is just saved money in the bank. Remember that since most investments can fluctuate significantly in the short term, your emergency funds and the money you want to spend in the next year or two or maybe 3 should never be invested. Investing means taking some risks with the expectation of future growth. Therefore, it's best only for the goals that you want to achieve in at least 3 years. Sign number 2 that you could be investing too much is you have high interest debt. If you have expensive consumer debt like credit cards or even car loans with double-digit interest rates, you may be investing too much for retirement and need to reallocate funds for those debts. For instance, you could temporarily increase your debt payments or even consolidate debt by taking out a low-rate personal loan to pay off higher-rate unsecured debt. The rate in terms that you could get in a consolidation loan is going to vary on factors like your income and credit. And remember that even though a personal loan may cut your interest, the shorter the repayment schedule, the higher your monthly payments will be. Another option is moving unsecured debt to a new or existing balance transfer credit card with a 0% APR promotion that could last something like 12 to 18 months. Every transfer would be subject to a fee, such as 3 or even 4%, which gets added to your balance. And once a balance transfer promotion ends, your interest rate typically increases, and it could be very high depending on your situation. Therefore, a balance transfer works best when you're sure you can pay off the entire balance before the promotion expires. So if you've got high rate debt, I definitely recommend doing your homework. You want to shop around, look for potential low rate loans and good balance transfer credit card offers. The idea is that you want to be aggressive with that high rate debt and back off a little bit with your retirement contributions, for a period of time until you can get that high rate debt under control. Sign number 3 that you may be investing too much for retirement is you have enough invested by age. So one way to make sure your retirement planning is on track is using age-based goals, like saving the equivalent of your annual income or salary by age 30, saving 2 times your income by 40, 4 times your income by 50, 8 times your income by 60, and 10 times your income by your mid-60s. Now, that is a rough guideline, and you may need more or less each decade based on your unique goals. Plus, you may have pension income or high expenses to factor into your retirement plans. So if you're ahead of these typical milestones, you may be investing too much for retirement. For instance, you may be a super saver if you're in your 30s and you've invested 2 or 3 times your annual income. Kevin didn't mention how much he saved, but a good point that he brought up is whether having lower age-based retirement targets is okay if you invest in an after-tax Roth account instead of a pre-tax traditional account. And that is a good point because most benchmarks assume retirees must pay income taxes on their withdrawals. So if Kevin and his wife continue investing exclusively in Roth accounts, they'll have tax-free income in retirement, which is terrific. So the type of investment account you choose certainly makes a difference in your future retirement income and how quickly you reach your savings goal. Sign number 4. You never reward yourself. While there's nothing wrong with aggressive retirement goals, remember to also reward yourself by enjoying your money. Unless Kevin and his wife genuinely want to retire early, investing 25% for retirement is about double my typical recommendation of 10 to 15%. So if Kevin were to temporarily reduce his retirement contributions, he could build his retirement fund and have extra for the car built in. Once he achieves those goals, he can increase his retirement contributions again. I would say having a couple of years where you don't max out your 401ks isn't going to hurt your retirement in the long term, as long as you regularly contribute a reasonable amount. Okay, we're not stopping retirement contributions. We're just scaling them back temporarily. Sign number 5, you have too much money stress. Let's say you are feeling stressed about needing more money to reach all your financial goals. Well, in that case, you may be investing too much for retirement. If Kevin and his wife reduce their 401k contributions, let's say by half, they'll still be putting away a healthy amount for retirement. Again, they can boost their contributions after achieving other goals like building savings and buying the car. If you need help knowing how much to invest based on your financial goals, I recommend getting guidance from a certified financial planner or CFP. They can definitely sit down with you to set realistic goals, help you choose investments, and create a plan so you know you are on the path to a comfortable retirement. Kevin, thanks again for the question. We're going to move on to the second one that came in from Michael about what happens to various tax-advantaged accounts after reaching age 59 and a half a few weeks ago. Well, happy half birthday, Michael. It is a big milestone. So the IRS set age 59 and a half as this specific age for retirement planning because it allows you to withdraw from any retirement plan without a 10% early withdrawal penalty. So that makes early retirement more attractive for those who've saved enough before reaching age 60. However, withdrawals from a traditional account are still subject to ordinary income tax. And as I previously mentioned, Roth withdrawals are tax-free. With a Roth IRA, your original contributions are always tax-free, but you must have owned the account for at least 5 years before your investment earnings in the account are also free of income taxes. Another benefit of turning 59 and a half when you have a 401k is called an in-service rollover. This is where you can transfer some or all of your funds from your workplace retirement plan to an IRA if you're still employed. So that gives you more control over your funds, and it doesn't prevent you from continuing to make new 401k contributions if you wish. So, Michael, you might want to check with your employer to find out if an in-service rollover is an option. And that would be something to consider. It would give you a little bit more control over your money. There's also something called the Rule of 55. This is for folks who want to retire earlier than 59 and a half. You can use this rule. It allows you to withdraw funds from a retirement plan with your current employer with no 10% early withdrawal penalty if you leave your job for any reason in or after the year you turn 55. And certain government workers can use this rule even earlier. For them, it's like the rule of 50 because they can do this starting at age 50. Now, remember that this exception to the early withdrawal penalty applies to plans with a current employer but not a former employer. So you're never allowed penalty-free withdrawals before 59 and a half from retirement plans with an ex-employer. However, a workaround could be transferring retirement funds from an old job to your current 401k or current 403b if you're interested in doing the Rule of 55. Also remember that if you do leave your job to start taking withdrawals before age 59 and a half, you can always return to work later if you wish. So in other words, you're never forced to stay retired if you use the Rule of 55. Also, I want to point out that the Rule of 55 does not apply to IRAs. However, you can avoid the 10% early penalty if you take distributions as a series of substantially equal periodic payments, which are known as a SEP plan. So this is a way that you can take early withdrawals without the penalty from IRAs, and you can begin them at any age. And you must take payment amounts that are based on IRS life expectancy tables. So you definitely want to get professional advice if you're thinking about an early retirement using a SEP plan. Even though you can take penalty-free distributions from your retirement accounts after age 59 and a half, it doesn't mean that you should. The earliest you can claim Social Security retirement benefits is 62, and waiting until your full retirement age or even delaying benefits until age 70 means getting a much higher monthly payment for life. So taking an early retirement means you really have to carefully plan how you're going to get income in those years before your Social Security benefits begin. Michael also asked about having a health savings account in retirement. So if you retire early, remember that Medicare health insurance benefits don't begin until age 65. So you'll have to purchase your own policy if you retire before then. Michael mentioned having an HSA, which he can use to pay out-of-pocket healthcare costs tax-free. It's a fantastic benefit. While you can't use an HSA to pay insurance premiums, you can use it for Medicare expenses after age 65. In addition, after 65, you can use HSA funds for any reason, even non-medical expenses. While you must pay ordinary income taxes on funds not used for qualified medical expenses, you skip the account's hefty 20% early withdrawal penalty. So these tax-advantaged accounts give you some nice options, even taking an early retirement if you wish. A big thanks to Kevin and Michael for sending in these questions. If you have a money question, I would love to cover it here on the show. Again, you can email me at lauradadams.com. That's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Steve Rookyberg. Our director of podcast is Brandon Gachus. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchins. Our advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin. And our marketing assistant is Cameron Lacey.